So guys, Guan Yu is coming soon to Watcher of Realms, and he is even better than the rumors made it sound. I am here on the test server, and let me just say, this guy is definitively the best AoE physical damage unit in all of the game, and that's at A0. He is insane. At A0 in Matrix 1, he was putting up almost as much damage as A5 Ardia, and he was handily beating A5 Neza. That's when he was at A0. And I will explain this later when we get into the Matrix showcase and the little demos I have prepared. I actually think he would have done better than Ardia if I had put him in a different spot. And you'll see that in just a bit. At A5, he can do this. So he is mopping the floor with A5 Ardia and A5 Neza. He really blows them out of the water. This guy has a phenomenal kit, and the best news is he is not going to be an Ancient exclusive unit. You can see here he has dual faction with Northerner and Watcher. There are no Ancient exclusive factions. That hard confirms that he will not be an Ancient pool hero. So he will be available in one of two ways, right? He's going to be a limited unit, the same way we've seen with Kagiri and Sun Wukong and Diao Chan and Anora, so on and so on. Or he'll just be a normal unit, like Vorn or Setrum, or, I mean, any of these guys, right? Where are normals? Phineas, Numera, just someone you can get from your normal blue summons or your normal gold summons. I think more likely than not, he's just going to be a normal unit. Because if he was going to be a limited, I feel like we would have heard about it by now, because he is coming out soon. So there he is, stroking his beard. Let's get into it. I have a lot prepared for you in this video. He does have a very complicated kit. I am confident in my ability to explain 98% of this kit. There's one funky thing with this Crescent slash that I'm not 100% sure on, but I will demo that for you before the official showcase runs that we're gonna do. I'm gonna explain what I think is happening, and you guys can let me know if you agree in the comments section below. But as you can see, there's a lot going on here, so let's get into it. I do have 2 full runs prepared to show you. I am just gonna show the beginning and then skip to the end. I'm gonna show them off at A1 and A3. A0, I ran it but didn't film it. I have the numbers for you, and I will share those. A5, same story, though I do have the screenshot at least, as I showed you here. So let's get into that kit, a very complicated kit. If you appreciate what we're doing here on the channel, on the test server, everything in the world of Watcher of Realms, please take a moment, sincerely, to subscribe to the channel. People were not subscribing in February. I think the game was just kind of in a lull. So if you want to take a moment to subscribe now, I would appreciate it so very much. So let's kick it off with the talent. That is kind of the crux of his kit. By the way, if you guys stick around, I won't say when, but at some point I am going to show off his cinematic, which I've never seen before. So we will all be watching it for the first time together. But with this talent, he's got a couple kinds of slashes. He has 2 special marks, the Blade Stance and the Dragon's Idolon, and it just comes with a ton of power. So let's begin with this Crescent Slash. This is a move that will deal 320% AoE damage to 3 targets with the lowest HP in the basic attack range. His basic attack range, if you were curious, is this interesting 3x3 square where he's set off to the bottom on one side. His ultimate range is the same. It's a pretty funky range. We wish it was longer, but it is effective. And as you'll see in Matrix, it's more than effective. It's completely and utterly broken, so we're happy enough with it. He's going to do damage to the 3 targets in his range with the lowest HP, and it's pretty significant damage, 320% damage, and he can trigger this multiple times in a row, as you're going to see right now. Whenever he kills a target or consumes 1 stack of Blade Stance, which is one of his signature marks, he can recast this slash right away up to 4 extra times. Now, this one effect is the source of confusion for me, because of Blade Stance. So what is Blade Stance? This is a permanent mark, and I'm going to demo this for you so you will see for yourself. This truly is a permanent mark. This cannot be consumed. Here it says it cannot be dispelled, but here in the Crescent Slash it says you can consume 1 stack of Blade Stance for an extra cast. That's one of the 2 ways to trigger that outside of killing a target, but I'm telling you, it cannot be consumed. It is permanent, and that is really important because Blade Stance is so strong. It gives him 4% more attack per stack, and it stacks up to 7 times. Very quickly, in any content, where you're dealing AoE damage and killing a lot of enemies, which is all the content you're going to use Guan Yu in, he will get a full 7 stacks. So permanently, he will have 28% more attack. Moreover, we'll get to this in more detail in a second, but if we go to his second passive here, Peerless Warrior, when he gets kills, he's going to give himself Rage, and that amount scales upon the Blade Stance stacks, which are always at 7, basically. So it's really, really, really strong. So my source of confusion is, how is he able to consume the Blade Stance to recast this? I think, basically, as long as you have 4 or more stacks, it guarantees 4 extra casts. When I show you the demo, I think that will make sense. So now you know all the little pieces of the first part of the talent. Let's go through it. Every 10 seconds, his next basic attack will become a Crescent Slash. That's that nice AoE damage, hitting the 3 targets with the lowest HP. And frankly, the vast majority of the time, because he's going to have a lot of stacks of Blade Stance, and he's also killing units all the time, this is cast 5 times in a row. It will then go on cooldown, and that cooldown is 10 seconds. So he can't do it again for 10 seconds, but basically, once you've settled into a battle, you got his stacks up, and he is good to go, every 10 seconds, he's going to do 5 Crescent Slashes, and then when he finishes, it goes on a 10-second cooldown, rinse and repeat. It is crazy, crazy stuff. He gains that 1 stack of Blade Stance whenever a basic attack or a Crescent Slash kills the enemy. He does have one other way to gain Blade Stance that you're going to learn about in a moment. Finally, after he kills 5 enemies total, he will enter a special state called Dragon's Idolon. And in a lot of content, you're going to see this in Matrix, he maintains this state forever, basically. As long as he has stuff to consistently hit and kill, he will stay in the Dragon Idolon state. And this is where so much of his power comes from. When he's in the Dragon Idolon state, at a base it lasts 25 seconds. His attack interval will be reduced by 20%, and he is immune to almost all debuffs. Crescent Slashes will now immediately execute any enemies with under 30% HP. And this cannot be dispelled. It is a permanent state until it expires. But as you're going to see, very often, it does not expire. On top of entering the Dragon's Idolon state, whenever he gets 5 kills, this will also make it so his following basic attack is not a basic attack, is not a Crescent Slash, but a special Dragon Crescent Slash, which is extra strong. So this is going to come with AoE damage in 3 parts, now hitting 10 targets. The first AoE is 150% damage, the second AoE is 150% damage, and then the third one is a major 270% AoE damage. And all of those hits are hitting up to 10 targets in a large area ahead of him. This area is bigger than his standard 3x3, which is another reason we don't mind that strange range. Moreover, each one of those 3 hits is going to inflict a stun for 2 seconds, and it will also come with that same execute that the Crescent Slash comes with. So any enemies hit by this that have HP under 30% will just be killed immediately. Keep in mind, those kills are going to go towards his killing 5 enemies in total condition for re-triggering another Dragon Crescent Slash and re-entering Dragon's Idolon if you're not yet in it. However, you're going to stay in it all the time, because every 5 kills, he's doing the Dragon Crescent Slash. He can do it in one other way as well. And whenever he does a Dragon Crescent Slash, he is going to refresh the duration of Dragon's Idolon. So if you're in that state, even if there's 1 second left, if you get a Dragon Crescent Slash off before it expires, the duration on the Idolon state goes right back up to 25 seconds. The final thing that this slash comes with is it gives him 2 stacks of Blade Stance. So this is the extra way to ensure that he gets to 7 stacks very, very, very quickly. I know we spent a lot of time on the talent, but it's confusing and it's important you understand it, because it's not just confusing, it's also supremely powerful. If you go to his basic here, this is just an AoE physical attack. Each attack is going to deal 120% AoE damage to up to 2 enemies. Now the ultimate, this is extremely significant. A lot of good stuff comes here. I'm going to go pretty fast, but you can see it's a bit of reading. It's got a good duration at 20 seconds. It's fairly cheap with a cost of 800 rage, and it comes with a very high initial rage cost of 600. So when you deploy him, he's already 75% of the way to being able to ult. Now, what does this actually do, and how quickly can you cycle it? It does a lot, and as you'll see from the second passive, you can cycle this constantly. So upon activating the ultimate, he can move around, right? He is a tactician after all. I don't think I explicitly stated that, but he's a tactician unit. So he comes with that displacement ability where he can move on the map. His displacement area is on the larger side. It's anywhere that is a ground tile within 3 tiles. Now for the actual ability and damage after the movement, and you don't have to move him, obviously. He can stay in the same spot or you can move him around. After that activation, he immediately is going to gain 4 stacks of Blade Stance. Remember, 7 stacks is the max, and this is a near instant ult. He gets this off very quickly, so really early on into battles, he will already be at 7 stacks because you're getting 4 stacks right here. It's only going to take 3 more kills or 1 kill and a trigger of the Dragon Crescent Slash to already be at that maximum 7. Now on top of that, after the activation, his next attack will be a guaranteed Dragon Crescent Slash. So this is the second way that you can do this ability, and remember, when he triggers that, he's going to refresh the duration of the Dragon's Eidolon. So on top of triggering a Dragon Crescent Slash whenever he gets 5 kills, he also does it whenever he ults right at the beginning. Between those 2 mechanisms, those 2 ways to trigger it, he's going to be triggering it enough that he will maintain 100% uptime on Dragon's Eidolon in any piece of content where he consistently has a lot of units to hit. And that's most content you're going to use him in. So you'll see in Matrix, this is always up. And everything's always very strong. He's really good. Now, you're going to want to keep that up for one more reason, because you'll see here, during the ultimate, he gains defense penetration based on his Blade Stance stacks. So it's 4% defense penetration for each stack. He's going to be at 7 stacks most of the time. That's ignoring 28% of the enemy defense. But if he's in the Dragon's Eidolon state, he ignores another 20% defense. So effectively, whenever he's ulting, he's ignoring 48% of the defense. Basically, his baseline while he's ulting is ignoring half the defense, if you're rounding it up. And it's crazy. So between the execution, the constant extra AoE hits from the continuous Crescent Slashes, the big bonus hits from the Dragon Crescent Slash, and ignoring a bunch of defense, the damage is constant. Penetration, execution, tons of constant AoE. It's really good stuff. Finally, the last 2 passives. Fortunately, these are fairly simple. Whenever he does one of his slashes, either the Crescent Slash or the Dragon Crescent Slash, he is going to heal himself. This is going to be really valuable in content where he might be out of healer range, content where you're taking advantage of his ability as a tactician to move around. So I think he is going to be a superstar in Malric, right? In any of the runes that you use in Malric's Halls of Illusion. This is a pretty crazy thing. He does these slashes a lot. He'll be healing himself a ton. Additionally, this passive has another effect. These slashes will deal 50% increased damage to targets below 50% HP. Now, that's not an additive plus 50% onto whatever the multiplier was, right? So if we look at the Dragon Crescent Slash, it's not like instead of dealing 150% AoE damage 2 times on those first 2 hits, now it's 200%. No, this is a multiplier. It's a 1.5x multiplier. So effectively, this is going to be 225%. And this here at the 270 is going to be, what, 405%. So this is a very significant thing. And it's all happening at the appropriate time, because when their health is low, he makes sure he gets it even lower, under 30%, and then his next slashes will execute. The final passive, this is probably what takes his kit from broken to god tier broken. He's ulting all the time. So I already made it clear that he's in the Dragon's Eidolon state all the time for AoE content like Matrix. But on top of that, because of this passive here, he's ulting all the time, which means he gets the additional benefit of all that defense penetration from both the base extra 20% and then the 4% per Blade Stance stack, right? Because he gets so much rage whenever he gets a kill. He restores 3% rage anytime he gets a kill, plus an extra 0.5% rage for every stack of Blade Stance. He's going to have 7 stacks. That's another 3.5% rage. So in total, every single time he gets a kill, he is going to restore 6.5% rage. He can start doing this already after he triggers the ult. So he can already start building up rage for the next ult. This does have a cooldown. It can only trigger once every 5 seconds, but over that ult, if you're getting kills, it's at least 3, if not 4 triggers. And outside of the ult, just bonus triggers. You'll see when he finishes ulting consistently, he already has 60, 65% rage towards his next ult. He is ulting constantly. He's in his heightened state constantly. He's dealing so much damage. It might sound like I'm spending too much time on the skills and I'm overhyping him. Once you see it, you will understand that we're not overhyping him. Finally, his awakenings. I will tell you, none of them are bad. The A4 is weird. I don't think this is usable for much content. Maybe there's one Malric map or a future map I don't know about. I will say it's a very unique A4. We've never seen that A4 before. The A1's good. The A5's good. Not game-breaking. The A3 is very, very good. I do want to spend a second on awakenings because I think a lot of people, if you've been saving summons for this, should think about going for many copies, because I'm going to go for A3. It's up to you. You know your wallet. You know your current savings in the game. You know your situation. But he's that good. All right, the A1. And actually, I got to say something very quickly. The A1 is not so crazy in terms of helping him. It's not nothing, but it's not that crazy. In terms of helping the team, it actually is kind of crazy, and it's definitely something you want. So successfully casting his ult, whenever he ults, he's going to grant damage increase for 20 seconds. That is super long, and that's going to be an increase of plus 20% damage. That will be given to all the heroes within 2 tiles of him. That is a lot of heroes, potentially. For certain content, it could be nearly everyone. So that is a major damage increase, and remember, he's ulting all the time. There's actually very good uptime on this. Moreover, he's going to give himself a shield equal to 20% of his attack. He can stack this shield up to 3 times. For a lot of content, you won't be able to stack this, but in theory, you could. It is a permanent shield. There's no duration on it. So, if he's not getting hit frequently in certain content, you could make good use of this. Potentially in something like Malric, if you're moving him around and units aren't hitting him a lot, you could get a nice shield. But keep in mind, 20% scaling off of his attack is not that crazy, even if you can stack it 3 times. His A2, pretty simple, plus 300 attack. That reminds me, we need to go over base stats. Let's go very, very fast. So his base attack starts out at 5607. Might seem a little low, but remember, he's an AoE unit, and he gets a ton of permanent attack increase from his blade stance stacks. So he gets another 300 from the A2. His HP is quite high for a tactician. That's really nice. His defense is pretty high, so he's fairly tanky. Magic res is low. The attack interval is the equivalent to a standard fighter, and everything else is pretty solid. His cost, by the way, is 18. On to the A3. The A3 is very strong. This increases Crescent Slash's damage by 20%. Again, this is not additive. This is multiplicative. So Crescent Slash typically is dealing 320% damage. This is going to be a little over an extra 60% damage. It's 20% more of that. So it doesn't go up to 340. It goes up to like 382. A very key thing on top of that is the number of targets is increased by 1. So this is going to hit 33% more targets. Instead of hitting 3 targets, it now hits 4. That's pretty clutch. More opportunities to execute, because remember, this is targeting the units with the lowest HP. It does make a substantial difference. It's a very nice awakening. Finally, the Dragon Crescent Slash, if you have this awakening, will grant 1 extra stack of Blade Stance. The reason that is significant is now, even if he kills no one, 1 trigger of his ultimate will guarantee a full 7 stacks. Remember, when he ults, he gets 4 stacks. That's part of his ultimate. And when he does a Dragon Crescent Slash, he's gaining 2 stacks. This brings it up to 3. So he casts the ultimate, that's 4 stacks. And then after casting it, he does the Dragon Crescent Slash, that's another 3. 4 plus 3 is 7. Very good A3, very good team synergy A1, and a little boost for him with the A1 as well, because he gets that damage increase. The A4, if you don't know, A2 and A4 in this game are always kind of like shared stat changes or general hero changes that we see consistently across many heroes, right? So very often it's penetration. Here it's very often plus attack. For defenders, it could be plus 1200 HP. Sometimes this is plus healing effect for healers, but this is the first time we've ever seen this on an A4. This increases his ultimate selectable movement range by 4 tiles. So if you remember, when he ults, he can move to any ground tile within 3 tiles. This makes it 4. That's going to cover a huge chunk of the map. I could see this being valuable in Malric. I can't think of any other use off the top of my head, but there totally could be some, and it could be very valuable with future maps. Finally, the A5. The start of this awakening is pretty clutch. It doesn't make as big a difference as you might think, though obviously it does make a difference. this is going to increase his stat cap of Blade Stance by 2. So instead of maxing out at 7, it goes up to 9. So if we think of all the ways this affects him, that's an extra 1% rage whenever he gets a kill, right? It's 0.5% per stack. 2 more stacks is 1%. That is going to be more defense he could ignore when he's ulting. Remember, it's 4% defense per stack, so that's another 8% defense he ignores. So now when he's ulting, he'll be ignoring 56% of defense as a baseline. And then Blade Stance is actually giving an increase in attack, so 2 more of these brings the attack increase, the permanent attack increase, up from 28% to 36%. The final part of the A5, he immediately gains Dragon's Eidolon when the ultimate is triggered. This is valuable for content where he's not consistently hitting things and killing things, and he doesn't have the opportunity to cast Dragon's Crescent Slash all the time and refresh this duration. So this guarantees that he can get it back up, right? This is a way that you can pop this back up manually when he is ready to ult. So all in all, there's a ton of damage in this kit. Technically, all of these slashes, from what I can tell, count as basic attacks. So that makes him an eligible unit to be wearing Infernal Roar. And obviously, he's going to work in the other sets we're used to as well. So this makes him a unit who can succeed in all of the top tier DPS sets. He's going to succeed in basically anything you put him in because he's so freaking good. I do think Hell's Lament is a great option for a lot of content where he's hitting things consistently. That's a set I want to try him in for Matrix 1 because you're going to see he's ulting all the time. Here we're running Cataclysm just because that's a lot of people's favorite. But Soulbound Arcana, of course, will also work very well. You can see a nice quad there, nice quad there. Here we got some Rage Regen. If and when I redo this build, I think I'll lose the Rage Regen. He doesn't really need it because he rage cycles so effectively just through his passive. Here we got another quad with a big attack roll, and here we've got another quad. I could definitely get him in a build as well where we've got a breastplate or maybe one piece of right side gear without crit rate. I think the idea would probably be over here to ditch the crit rate and get flat attack. That would be a pretty strong build. That's definitely something I can put together in a future video. For the artifact, he does also have an excellent exclusive artifact, which is going to be his best in slot. Unfortunately, they only sent me 1 copy, and it's not in the Forge yet, so I can't even go get another. I can't remember exactly what it was at base promotion. It either started with increases AoE damage by 15% or 20%, and that's the only thing that changes with promotions besides the base stats over here. It goes up to 30%. The good stuff, though, starts and stays where it is. When the basic attack and Crescent Slash deal damage, they inflict 30% defense reduction on targets for 3 seconds. That is an amazing defense break he's able to do. That effect already makes this his best in slot. He becomes a phenomenal defense break unit. You can see here, when Dragon Crescent Slash deals damage, it's going to also inflict a 30% defense break, but this lasts for 15 seconds. Remember that Dragon Crescent Slash also has a larger range, so that's pretty valuable. Very, very good exclusive. Pretty simple, big AoE damage increase, and a great, super strong AoE defense break. So I think that covers just about everything. Let's get into a quick demo just to show you a couple things. I want to show you how the Blade Stance stacks work, and I want to show you the weirdness when it comes to like consuming them and casting the Crescent Slash multiple times in a row. Then we're going to have a very quick pre-film showcase where I show you a run where he's A1 and a run where he is A3. All right, so for this first short demo, I just want to show you how his stacks work. Let's just start it on auto. Everyone gets placed, and then I'll click in and demonstrate. But you'll see, we'll quickly reach 7, and then he never leaves 7 stacks. As soon as everyone's deployed, let's interrupt there. I don't care about the rest of the run. Let's just focus on Guan Yu, who's right here. You'll see right now, no stacks. It's showing, it's gonna have the same symbol as this Wings of Grace buff, but it will look separate. So you'll see right now we haven't earned any. I'm gonna ult, that'll give us 4. And see, and we're already up to 7 because we got 4. Then he quickly did a Dragon Crescent Slash. That was another 2, and we must have picked up a kill. So we're already at 7 stacks. You can see, where is it? 7 here permanently increases attack by 28%. That's 4 times 7, and that's not going anywhere, right? So even after he does multiple Crescent Slashes in a row, it's not going anywhere. He's still at 7. You see those big bursts, and he's hitting numbers over 1 million over and over, and it's 800,000. It's not going down. It's the first thing I really wanted to show you. Let's quickly just make it easier with less numbers everywhere. Now you understand the stacks. Let's try to look at that Crescent Slash, and maybe you guys can help me crack the case that I've been struggling with in regards to how he's triggering it, because I don't think it is going to get triggered, the extra Crescent Slash instances from kills, but I think if he's just wearing that many stacks, since he can't consume them, it just counts as him consuming them, and they just remain there, and he guarantees himself the 4 extra. Let's hop in. I'll do this manually. We'll just do him and like a couple supports. We can zoom in even and everything. So let's get him placed right here. Let's get, I guess let's just place Rivenholt here. Then we can place Leia or something. So quickly, let's get our stacks up. You can see right now, no stacks. That's just the Wings of Grace. I'm going to ult. You see he ults. That brings him 4. And then he has the Dragon Slash. That brings him 6. The second he's going to get a kill, boom, he's got a kill. 1 second. He's got to get with the Crescent. Should go to 7 in 1 moment. Sorry. But regardless, okay, he's at 6. You can see that. So 24%, 6 times 4. He's going to get, the next time he does a Crescent Slash, you'll see he's going to do multiple. And there you go, 7. There's another one. There's another one. There's another one. There's another one. He got at least 4. I think it was a full 5, and he didn't consume any of this. And it's not like he got those kills over and over. And remember, there's the cooldown on the kills anyway. So I do believe, unless they're counting if he gets, you know, multiple kills in 1 hit, those are all adding up towards his total. But from everything I've seen, and I've tried to go through it, it's obviously hard with the numbers flying around everywhere. It seems like once he's at the max stacks, he's going to get the Crescent Slash trigger every 10 seconds, and then the maximum additional 4 every time. You can try to pay attention right now as we go to the pre-filmed footage. This is with, you can see there, A1 Guan Yu. Ooh, actually, even better, leave that, Mitchell. This is, I said we'd have a surprise moment where I showed off his cinematic. I think this is as good a time as any. So let's go here before we go back to that pre-recorded stuff. And let's watch it. I've never seen it. Buckle up, guys. I know this is turning into a long video, but it's about one of the strongest characters in the game now. So let's see. I'm curious if the theming stays in line with like Yao Chan and Lu Bu, because I think they're all from the same story, that 3 Kingdoms story. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's Lu Bu, yeah, right? Lu Bu walks over the molten landscape, so they are all connected. That's insane. He's on his cliff with his giant dragon speared above him. They're flying down together for Lu Bu. Lu Bu never stood a chance. It's short, it's clean, I like it. Let's be honest, not their greatest cinematic, but it definitely captures the aura and the majesty and the power. Pretty cool stuff. Okay, let's go to that pre-recorded stuff and let's watch it now. And I do want to explain the stuff I was mentioning earlier as we head into the battle. You'll see why I think even at A0, he might be better than Ardia when she's at A5. Now, this is at A1, so I'm not going to spoil these numbers, but I'll tell you, when Ardia was A5, she put up 1.413 billion damage. I'll put that as a text overlay. So 1.413 billion damage, and Guan Yu put up 1.305. But for that test, I deployed Guan Yu the same way that you're going to see me do now in the A1 run, and then I'm about to do after that you'll see in the A3 run, and then I eventually did in the A5 run, where I put him on the same side as Neza. So the 2 main DPS on the left side, we can let it start deploying, the 2 main DPS on the left side, without Guan Yu, those were Ardia and Estrid. So Ardia's partner was a lot weaker, Estrid, than Guan Yu's partner, Neza, right? Neza's stronger than Estrid. And there's only so much damage to go around. So Guan Yu still does significantly better than Neza. I'll put that text overlay up right now as well. Neza at A5 did 1.154. So to recap, we'll do it all together. Ardia A5 was 1.413. Guan Yu was 1.305. And Neza was 1.154, and those are all in billions. So he still beat Neza, but they're sharing damage on one side. I think because Guan Yu is the strongest, if and when I was to do this again, I would put Guan Yu on the side with Estrid or Talon, whoever you wanted to use. That was the 4th best DPS, so you're matching 1 and 4, and then I'd put 2 and 3, Ardia and Neza, on the other side. And if we were to do that, I think even at A0, he would trounce A5 Ardia. So without further ado, let's get into it. You'll see how we're laying it out. I'm going to do a classic Leia with Rivenholt in the middle. So there, you know, when Leia ults and then Rivenholt, always they're able to support everyone. Tallulah in the back, covering everyone. Ireless pointed to the right. That's another way Guan Yu, when he's taking damage, he'll get even more rage. You know, when he occasionally gets her special mark. Let's pause very quickly. Okay, we've got Estrid here, Ardia here, and then we've got Neza back here with Guan Yu here. So those are the pairings. Another thing is there's a little bit of stepping on feet. Sorry, I didn't think of this earlier, but there's a little bit of stepping on feet by pairing Neza and Guan Yu because both of those units have execute, and you really want Guan Yu getting as many kills as possible so he can keep, you know, getting towards 5 kills at a time and triggering the Dragon Crescent. I can't speak. The Dragon Crescent Slash. But look at some of these numbers he's putting out. Just consistently 700k. There's 1.2k, 896k. It's pretty huge stuff. And you can see for this specific fight, Ardia and him are the leaders. They're each the MVP of every side. Now, I'm not going to show you this whole thing. Nothing really is going to change. This is just how I'm cycling. I do think there's some optimization I left on the table. And I'm confident once he debuts, and maybe even before that, once I've tested him out more, we'll be able to get more and more and more damage. This is already just at A1. He is a rock star, and everyone else, they're all A5, right? Neza and Ardia. So, I mean, look at there. He just hit for 900 something, 950. These basic hits are hitting for 340, 450. Let's keep watching. 486. I want to see when he gets this little chain of Crescent Slashes. Could be any moment. Now, yeah, 716, 1.19 million. There's a 600k something there. It's just nonstop, constant, crazy damage. And another thing to point out is I wasn't even ulting with him all the time. I think the strat with him is just to keep ulting over and over and over and over. Because if we watch this, and after this, we'll skip ahead. Wait till I ult. I was being way too conservative, timing it out. With the what is it, the Pact of Silence. You'll see I wanted to time it all out perfectly, so there you go, triggering it there. Here comes the Pact of Silence. I think you could easily get him 2 in a rotation, and frankly, you'll see when this finishes, he's so ready. The second his ult finishes, he's so close to being ready to ult again. I don't see a reason not to just have him spamming ults the entire frickin' time. Look, he's about to finish his ult, it's empty, boom. He's at 54%. And that's with Neza probably still stealing a couple kills he didn't need to steal. I've had times where he was at like 66% already. You know, so look how quickly this is going to come back up. Here's the first decay overflow. When that comes, he's already over 80%. It's pretty nutty stuff. 95, there, he's at 100% before the boss even starts the animation for the first focus strike. There you go. I think there's optimization to still be done when it comes to pacing him out. And squeezing out even more damage because this guy is just unreal. Here in this showcase, right, that's by herself basically on the side, so much damage for her to claim. We've got Ardia putting up 464 million, and Guan Yu, she's at A5. Guan Yu at that same point was at 401 million at A1. So I'm going to go ahead and skip towards the end here. Take my word for it, nothing else too crazy happens. I just want to show it all wrapping up. Your last 15 seconds, you can see our big 3 have all passed 1 billion damage now. Ardia's coming up towards 1.5. Guan Yu's coming up towards 1.4. Neza's just over 1 million. And there you have it. Guan Yu just short of the 1.4. Ardia just above the 1.5. So Ardia's doing about, what does that come out to? 8% more damage. But that's with her only sharing with Estrid, while Guan Yu is sharing with Neza. And she's A5 and he is A1. So really, really nice. You can see, though, his growth, you know, though I didn't do 1 million runs at each awakening to compare a ton, if we go back to my notes, from A0 to A1, his damage didn't rise by that much. And actually, Neza's went down a little bit. So there was some, you know, variance here. All in all, it made a difference, not a huge difference. I think, you know, stuff could be optimized, as I've said a few different times. The A1 is going to be really nice for content where you can bunch all your DPS together. Him getting that damage increase all the time is going to be huge. Keep in mind, though, that damage increase buff, as good as it is, the 20% for 20 seconds, is not a unique buff. So it is going to be in conflict with Leia's damage increase whenever she ults, right? So that's something to think about. So it's not going to make the largest difference in this situation, but in other situations, it could make a pretty significant difference. So these are the final totals. You can see Estrid at about 868 million, Neza just over 1 billion, Guan Yu at about 1.4, Ardia at about 1.5. Let's skip ahead now to the next run. You can see everything is the same except he is now A3. Remember that A3 is absolutely spicy. This is when he gets a 20% boost to all of his Crescent slashes. As you saw, he's consistently doing 5 at a time. That's not plus 20%, that's a 1.2x multiplier on his previous Crescent slash damage, and the number of targets increases by 1. So instead of hitting 3 units, the 3 units with the lowest HP in his basic attack range, he is hitting 4. That does make a difference. If you want to take a moment, you can guess in the comments how big a difference. Spoiler alert, it's a big difference. Just want to show you the placement so you can see that everything is still the same. We'll watch a couple hits quickly. I just want you to see the beginning of the battle and how the damage is going, and then we'll hop to the end and we'll wrap things up. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me through this video. I know I go a little deeper into the details and the ins and outs of the kits than some other people. It's how I've always done things. It's how I like to do things. It makes the videos longer typically, but I think it's pretty worth it. Oh, an extra thing I can mention, Adrian's also dealing damage. Like that last run at A1, Adrian, I have it here, put up 652 million damage, right? So that's another person stealing from Guan Yu. I think we could totally put like Neza here, Estrid down here. I hope you can see my cursor, but move Neza here, put Estrid here, and then put Adrian on this side. I think Guan Yu easily is over 2 billion, especially at least at the higher awakenings. I'm going to test out more. If you guys want to see that, I can even do it pretty dang soon, just because I had a lot of fun putting this together, even if it took a while. So already you can see he's pulled ahead of Ardia right there. I mean, look at that damage. It is significant. We'll take it through one cycle when we finish that Pact of Silence. Here's the second decay overflow. I mean, look at these two, though. I mean, it's kind of like we got 20, 40, almost 80. 26, 54, 80. Like, look at these numbers. It's really nuts. And again, I'm sitting on the ultimate. I should be spamming that thing. I'll get the stacks earlier, and I think it certainly would come back around soon enough. Maybe later on you get conservative with it, depending on the gear, depending on the support, depending on everything else. Here's the Pact of Silence. But I really think I could just have him ulting non-freaking stop. So I'm excited to try that out. Ardia did catch up because she's on the auto ult. She kept ulting and he wasn't ulting. But as soon as he starts ulting again, boom. I really feel like I left a ton of damage on the table. So there you go. He's doing like 33% more damage. 33% more damage than Ardia. Let's skip ahead a good bit and we'll watch the last minute or so together. You can see a good deal of mech fragments. And here we go as we pass 70k. Guan Yu's coming up at 1.5 billion. Ardia's at 1.3. Neza's getting close to 1 billion. He's a beast. There's not much more to say. At A0, he's a beast. Then you just saw at A1, he was a beast. At A3, he's going to be a beast. I'll just quickly pop it open just so you can remember. These are the A5 numbers. So 1,866,000,000. He's going to get pretty close to that again with 40 seconds left. There's not a doubt in my mind I could easily clear 2 billion with him. Probably at A0 or A1, definitely at A3, once I just tighten some of these things up. Going back and watching my footage and narrating it to you guys and preparing for this video, I had a bunch of ideas on like, oh, this could be tweaked, this could be tweaked. And my builds are a little attack heavy. Here's a little teaser. I've been talking with Mango. He put out an amazing video about how you can lean heavier into crit damage than we realized. We did that, who knows what kind of number we could do. So I'll probably have to do a follow-up kind of like God run with him. But here you go. He's going to be passing almost 1.75 billion. There you go. On the dot, right? So remember, he did put up 1.866 billion at A5, but already at A3, he's at 1.75. So that increase going up another 110 million or so. I mean, we're talking about an increase of what even is that, 6% or so? That's not so game-changing. Nothing like going from A1 to A3. And I think that change from A1 to A3 could be even better once we dial this in a little tighter. But here you go. Good run for Neza as well. Just a good run in general. Came up towards, I'll go to the end there just so you can see again. Came up towards 80,000 fragments. And for sure, this could be boosted to the point where it could be a lot higher than that. I think there's a good chance he could take the top accounts in the game and the top players in the game to the promised land and get that 250k chest, right? Because those people are already putting up ungodly bulwark numbers, and he might bring certain spellbane numbers on certain teams, certain rosters to the next level. So there you have it. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Fastidious. If you like my stuff, please do subscribe to the channel. If you have any suggestions or thoughts or whatever, let me know in the comment section below. Give the video a big thumbs up. Shout out to my editor. This video was a long one and a bit crazy behind the scenes, so you're awesome, Mitchell. I appreciate it. Share with your mother, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Fastidious.